Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girlz Radio. I am your host, Patricia Baker. I'm here with my co-host, PK, melting in Tucson.
That is a truism.
Bravely.
Yes, very bravely. 105 is nothing.
That's nothing for you. And look at you, cool as a cucumber sitting there.
That's right.
The rest of us, the rest of you want to see us tonight, then all you have to do is go to our chat room, irnchat.com, go to menu, and I think it's video or something like that, where you can find us and you can watch us. So we're excited to be on the air tonight because PK, as you know, we've got one of our favorite people on.
That's for sure.
We have Michelle Piper, a very famous psychic medium. We're going to bring her on in a few minutes. And then she's going to be offering free readings for all of our lovely audience members. If you'd like a reading with Michelle tonight, you can call in 888-919-2355. Again, that's 888-919-2355. Or if you're kind of on the shy side, we understand. And you can write your question in the chat room, which is, again, irnchat.com. That's irnchat.com. And we will ask Michelle your question on your behalf. So stay tuned. We're going to bring her on in a few minutes. But first and foremost, we need to talk to you, PK, about the numbers.
Oh, the numbers are driving everybody crazy. It's a 7 universal month, so everybody's being plagued with being overly tired, totally worn out, very suspicious of others or what's going on or what's really behind things. Some of us are facing more legal issues than thought about or wanting to think about. And dreaming, the dream state is really taking over for a lot of us. But more important is the fact that our mind is changing much more rapidly than we can put anything together. You'll start something, you jump off into something else, you try to come back, and it's like riding a roller coaster. And you're exhausted because the ride is not comfortable. I think somebody put tacks on my seat.
Oh, no, the worst.
They did.
Oh, terrible. So, yeah, it sounds like we got to buckle up for a little while.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're waking up every hour on the hour, like a good many of us are this month, don't be surprised. Just know that it's only for another 25 days.
Okay.
We'll be out of it.
And then we'll survive another exactly. Whatever is coming our way. Now, I just heard that North Korea set off a bunch of missiles just now.
Well, that would not be a surprise because the 7 deals with secrets, deceit, and deception as well. So we've got stuff coming that we have not even thought of yet. Before this month is over, there's going to be a lot of shake, rattle, and roll. And I hope we take our little friend's Twitter button away.
Yeah. I love his tweets. I do.
Well, I don't mind some of them, but some of them have got people ready to jump off of bridges or push him off a bridge. God love him. He's got every opportunity to do well. That's it right now. The 7 says, be spiritual, think, plan, then do.
Okay.
I wish he would just think and plan.
Well, that's not really his personality, but that's okay. That's okay.
That's all right.
We have a lot going on in the UFO world. Now, last week, we talked about our friend, Robert Bigelow, who we love, and we'd love to have him on the show because he is so well informed about ETs and UFOs. He knows what the real story is, and he even came out on 60 Minutes and talked about it, which God bless him for that. And
that
for
was
all
fabulous.
It was amazing. So the internet is still burning up with that story. I'm seeing it posted just about everywhere.
Yes, for sure.
Besides that, now we posted a story about Mars today on our Facebook page. So everybody go to the Facebook page. You're going to see a story about a hole on Mars that they believe was constructed by aliens. And where was this being reported? Guess what, everybody? The mainstream news. So something's up. And PK, you've been talking about this for a while, that you feel that they're going to start actually working with that D word, disclosure.
Oh, they have to. It's a one universal year. this is the best time for them to come out with things like this, because they won't look like the that they've been for keeping all the secret.
Right.
Now this way it'll come out, but it will make them not look quite as bad as it could have.
Exactly. And I think with Mr. Bigelow's disclosure on 60 Minutes, he opened the door for them, and let's see if they walk through. Now, we know whatever comes from the government will be heavily sanitized. We don't expect.
You think?
No, I think. I do.
I can't believe they do that.
They're going to sanitize it because they want to control it. And we all know that. And we don't need to hear, from them that aliens are here and visiting. We know that. We just want them to kind of come clean as best they can. So looks like that's kind of on the way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be reading these stories in mainstream media. So I was interested to see the story about Mars on Fox News.
That shocked me when I saw that. I thought, oh my God. Well, of course, Fox likes to be first in everything.
Yeah, they might as well be first with this, right?
Sure. Why not?
So, yeah.
When it wraps around the fact that there's a big hole there, Fox should tell us about it.
I think they should. We deserve to know everything. So,
definitely.
Now, this one, you and I found this very interesting. And this is in the Chicago area. There is a current Mothman flap. So there's been sighting after sighting in the Chicago area of who we come to know as Mothman. Now, in the original Mothman story years and years ago, this was a sighting. I forget exactly where it was. Was it on the North Carolina border? Someplace like that. West Virginia. Thank you, Michelle. It was on the West Virginia border. And some people feel that Mothman was actually coming to be a warning about the big bridge that collapsed, killed a lot of people. Other people think Mothman was just there observing one of our human catastrophes. So here we've got a lot of sightings in the Chicago area. And the question is this a warning or is this something else? So a lot of people have opinions. You will see that story again on our Facebook page. Make sure you go there, give us a like, follow us, and follow us on Twitter as well to keep up with everything we're doing. And don't forget, also sign up for our newsletter, The Fringe Files. We send it out once a week, and it contains the information about the show and other exciting things that we're doing. Because we're always doing something exciting here. We've been watching your fog. Now, last week there was no fog.
Well, we'll see what happens this time.
We're going to see what happens this time. But last time there was a little bit, not a lot. So it looks like it might be going away. But it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight and when we bring our UFO guests back. Because we've got a bunch of UFO guests coming up. And so we have got to keep an eye on you, PK. Make sure you don't get, beamed up right in front of us.
Oh, God, that's all I need. I'd have to check to make sure my hair is done. And all that is in place before I do it.
You look beautiful. There's no better time to be beamed up, quite honestly. So,
hi, Scotty.
That's right. So we're going to keep watching you. Now, I also want to let everybody know, next week we will not be doing a live show because our incredibly talented producer is taking a vacation. Without our permission.
Definitely without our permission.
No, we said no. He's going anyways. So we'll not be doing a live show. We are going to share with you one of our favorite shows, though, which is our most recent interview with Don Oscar, the incredible shaman from Peru. He did an incredible show with us. Remember that? He was talking about the UFO that landed in Peru, and there were 200 journalists there watching the whole thing. So he told the story like no one else can, and we're looking to bring him back. And the Mancisto that he talked about that actually was picked up by the ETs and taken far, far away, and then brought back and was completely disheveled after his experience. Remember that? It was great. So don't miss next week's show. It's worth listening to, even though we won't be with you live. We'll be with you in spirit. So don't miss it.
And everything we do is in spirit.
It is. Because we are so spiritual, right?
That's right.
All right. So here we are. So we have tonight Michelle Piper, who is an acclaimed psychic medium. She read for our audience about 2 or 3 months ago. And
Yeah.
people
Yes.
feedback back.
About that.
Please bring Michelle back. So we're going to do our best tonight to have Michelle talk to you about your questions and your concerns. So again, call us up, 888-919-2355. That is 888-919-2355. Or if you're shy, that's okay. You can write your question in the chat room and we will ask Michelle on your behalf. So we'll get it answered for you. We're going to try to get to everybody tonight. But in the meantime, let's introduce you to Michelle. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. It's good seeing you, young lady.
Great. How are you doing?
I am absolutely amazing. Fantastic, even though the full moon's coming on Friday. I got myself grounded enough to
not at my
get through
house.
the week.
You said no full moon there. That's it.
You said, no more. Done.
That's it. I'm done.
That's it. Done. You're done. You're tired of being tired. That's your famous quote, PK.
It is right now. And after the show, I've got a question for you.
Oh, sounds good. I'll be ready. Trust me.
Woohoo!
So, Michelle, if you would, please tell our audience a little bit about you, because we always have new listeners that may not have heard your last show. So how did you get into this? Tell everybody how all of this came about for you.
You know, I was young. You know, my first experience was when I was 6 years old. And as I started to grow and evolve, I hid it for a very long time. And I was treated very poorly when I finally did come out. Of course, everyone likes to judge and make fun of you and things like that. But one day I just heard the calling. Like I just heard this voice saying, here's the name, this is what you're going to be. And I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? I got 3 kids in diapers. I'm, 25 pounds overweight. I had just gotten through thyroid cancer. I quit my practice. I was a holistic practitioner for many years. I had stopped, I was a midwife. I stopped delivering babies. I'm thinking, I'm going to be a what? A psychic medium? I mean, that's crazy. You know what I mean? You're thinking how? And ever since 2006, it evolved. And I slowly built my business up just by doing my work. I didn't advertise. It was all based on referral. And in the last couple of years, I've been signed with a studio and here in Chicago and with a marketing agency. And I have my own producer. And we have taken the company global. And I'm actually doing readings live on events, and I just wrote my second book, and I'm so blessed, Patricia and PK, I can't, to do our work is one thing, but to do what we do, and I always get emotional when I say this, but to do what we do and be able to connect the dead with those who are here living is just, it's amazing. I still get amazed by that I'm able to hear and see the other side so clearly. I have all 6 clairs, so I can hear, taste, see, smell, touch. They come through it's almost like a computer. Once it starts, it just doesn't stop. I get the visions, I get the form, I talk to them as if they're sitting in front of me, and I didn't train for this. It's not like I went to school or read a book. It's just, it happened. And it got more and more and more as I started to get older. And now I'm turning 48 this year. And as I'm now at this level, I am such in a high vibration. The clarity is just unfathomable to me. Like I can't even believe that I'm so blessed to be able to do this. And my biggest joy is watching my clients' responses, to see their growth and evolvement spiritually, and to be able to connect them with their loved ones is just the best thing I can ever do before I leave this earth. It is just amazing.
That's great.
Special. Very special.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's great because it leaves you with such a good feeling that you're helping people.
It
now,
does.
Can you share with us, maybe again without revealing personal details about somebody's name or whatever, any of the sessions you've done that you think have been really profound? I'm sure they all are in their own way, but things that our audience might be surprised by or would be shocked by.
I have many. I think the biggest one that stands out to me is the day I got a call from my neighbor. And I don't know if they're listening, but I had gotten a call from my neighbor that her best friend's brother was in the ICU at a hospital. and he had been beaten the night before, and that's all she told me. She's like, I would never ask you to do this, but can you come to the hospital? And most of the time I won't do that because A, I don't know the family, B, you know the energies that are involved, C, now we're talking possibly a criminal case. If that is the case, when I tap in, and something compelled me to go, and I don't usually say yes. And I did it for free. It's not like I was charging or anything. I was compelled to go, so I did. I went to the hospital, and I kid you not, I wasn't even in the room maybe a minute, and it was just, I saw where, how, who, and I will tell you, the father took me out of the room, and he was crying and had me crying, and he said to me, and I quote, there is no way you were able to pull those two names that you gave us. And because they are in jail, I can't give you the names of the family or the people, but the two names I gave them were caught, and those were the names. They did find the weapon where I saw it, and those two children were in juvenile detention, and they did go to jail for manslaughter.
Wow.
So, I believe it was manslaughter. Don't misquote me there, but that reading, I'll never forget the day that the family's face, I'll never forget the father's face when I said the two names, because those were the two boys who were at the party, and that is who they in their heart felt did it, but everybody was hiding it.
Oh, how awful.
And how it happened was through this metal bar, and I said it's in a lake. They threw it. It's in the middle. He paid divers to go, and they found it in the lake.
Oh my gosh.
So the blood, how the blood still stayed on, because I thought, I mean, it might be stupid here, but I thought you would wash it off. I mean, it's in water. You would think it would wash off. And that's how they caught not only the name, but then they had the weapon.
So the young man that was beaten passed away?
He actually did not. So that's why I don't think it's manslaughter. It might have been aggravated attempt of or I don't know the legal terms, but
right.
they went to jail for a while. It was like 5 years. Attempted murder, maybe
attempted murder.
Something like that. But
aggravated assault.
So they had read him his rights, and after about a month, he actually came out of the coma. So they don't do that a lot anymore. They don't let you come out of comas as much anymore, I don't feel. But they don't. They can't wait to pull the plug. But this family allowed him to heal, and he did come out. He is still alive.
So they gave him his last rites, but he pulled through.
So that was the biggest one. Yeah. I
amazing.
have several, but that probably is the most profound one that I tell to people all the time.
You know, I love the ability you have to actually solve crimes like this, because so many times, you know, police don't know where to go. They don't know where to turn. And a lot of police don't really rely on the family to give them good, solid information.
Correct.
So it's really, I think, important that the police learn to work more with people like you.
I wish they would too.
Help.
I wish they would too. I mean, most of the time when the families are desperate and searching, they seek me out. They hire my expertise on to help them, you know, when they're doing their own investigation. And it could be so much easier if we just start at the time of the crime. You know, I've had actually a family take me to a crime location, and I made them be quiet, and I walked them through the entire crime from beginning to end, from start to finish, to where it happened, to how it happened, to where, you know, he died. And believe it or not, it ended up all holding true. Several years later, obviously I found out, but everything I walked them through, actually the investigative report followed through with that. Now think about that. That was years later. Had we just done it at the beginning with the police, it could have been done, you know, like this.
Exactly.
And, you know, and sometimes we're not meant to know. I mean, I love to tell the audience that too, you know, there's a lot, you know, we'd be robotic if we're all meant to rely on information. You know, we're here to help, but there are things we're truly sometimes not meant to know. We're not meant to know the answers to. But when
Right.
we truly are. And I wish police would rely more, like you said, on talented mediums who read in a high vibration. You know, there's different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That's right.
you'll know if they're authentic and if they're really seeing correctly. And I agree with you. And I think that's how I got my name, Motherella. Like, that name came, and people don't even call me Michelle Piper. They call me Motherella. It's the cutest thing ever. That's actually my brand name, because people call me Motherella. They don't call me Michelle.
What does Motherella mean? What
It's
is it
just,
have a special meaning?
it's like the name I had heard. And I always tell the joke that I have been on a phone with a friend, and I said, I feel like Mother friggin' Rella, you know, on the phone. Like,
Glad they dropped the middle
Cinderella.
part on it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Cinderella, but Motherella. Okay.
And she's like, what made you say that? I said, I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, it's going to be my business name. And I called an attorney and I made it my business. You're talking in 2006. And I thought it was going to be T-shirts. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a mom with a bunch of kids laying around. And here I am as a psychic medium,
With a bunch of
spiritual
kids
teacher.
lying around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they're all dead kids lying around. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just, and here I am. I'm known as Motherella.
That
Motherella.
is really
So
something.
I kind of got
Gosh,
used to it. Hmm.
well,
Even my
I have
team calls me.
even your team calls you this? Oh my
They
goodness.
call me. They don't call me Michelle. They're like, tell Motherella to come over here. Tell her to look in the camera this way. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's
That's
funny.
so cute. Well,
Yeah.
here's a question. This one is from Denise Clark Kress, and she
Okay.
says, I usually don't ask this,
Okay.
but is my mom available on the other side to relay any messages to you for me? My reading last time was amazing. Thanks from my heart.
Aw, you're so sweet. All right. So can she type in just the first name, because you and I both know Spirit loves to take their time to come
Hi,
through.
Denise, would you please type in your mom's first name? And then I'll be able to pass that on to Michelle.
I also heard the name Marie. I don't know who that is, but I did hear Marie. And she doesn't have to worry about, is she around, because the answer is yes. So I do want to clarify that. I think people tend to think when their family dies that they're not around, and that if they don't feel them, they're not around, and that's not true. I love clarifying that for people. Your loved ones are always around. It's whether or not you're tapped into their energy to know if they're around. But they are around. It's not like they float away and say goodbye to us for months at a time. They're there when we need them always. So the only other message I hear for you, Denise, before you tell me your name, that I'm hearing, and I'm hoping it's from Mom, because I won't tap in if I don't know who it is, because of what we were talking about earlier, the lower vibration. But I will tell you, your mom is saying something about not worrying so much about the 14 months ahead as much as you need to focus on you now. And I don't know what's going on personally. That's a longer reading, but she's very adamant about the 14 months ahead. And she wants you to focus on the now. Stop worrying about what's happening in 2018.
Okay, I don't see a name from Denise yet, so if one comes up, we'll let you know.
Okay,
but
keep going.
It sounds like you answered the question. Okay. So here's another question, and this one came through in a text. They want to know, how do you shut this off? Because you said that this comes through so boldly and so clearly. So when you want to take a break from this, how do you shut it down?
I love that question. Thank you for asking. Whoever asked that, I love it, especially because I'm a different type of psychic medium. I live with the afterlife every day, and I've lived with them since I've been 6. So it's not like I've ever really been detached from the afterlife. I've always had them with me. What I've done is, as I started to get older and I started to mature and I started to hear my guidance, I'm now able to contractually work with spirit. So let's just say today I'm running with my kids. Okay, so of course it's my kids in the car, and then I got spirit around me. I can actually ask them, okay, I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm intimate with my husband, right? You think I want spirit in my room? No. No, because I can see them. Don't forget.
I would think not.
So, like, distraction is there. I just ask simply and very nicely. It is my time. I'm asking you to remove yourself, not permanently, just temporarily. And sometimes I'll even give them a time. I'm writing this in my upcoming blog about bumps in the night, or bumps of the night. And I talk about how I ask them to leave me alone between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. so I can sleep. I'm at this age now, I don't want messages in my sleep anymore. I think it's great. If it's not a dire emergency, I don't need them waking me up all night long. So I have the ability to actually let them know when I need my time, and they do honor it. They very much do. And I teach people that too. I know there's a lot of people who have a lot of activity in their sleep when they're sleeping, or they feel things. And I always say, if it bothers you or scares you, or it's too much energy, all you have to do is simply nicely say, listen, I can't do this right now. I'm in human body. I'm on Earth's time, and I really need this time for myself. Can you please just step back for a moment, let me be, and we can resume and whatever. Even though they have their own language, they do understand what we're communicating. It's just a translation thing. It's an energy. So I do very well about keeping them at a distance when I want them to be. I'll tell you, though, most of the time, I don't have to, because I've gotten so used to them around. It's not like I have to do that. It's like the Brady Bunch of spirit. But I love that question.
To you because
they
you're in charge.
Do. They
and
do.
We're all in charge.
We all are in charge, and that's what people don't understand. I love teaching people that you don't have to be afraid, because technically we're in charge. What we're sometimes not in charge of is the lower vibration entities that like to come through, such as this Mothman we're talking about. That, sometimes we don't always get to be in charge, and they try to take over, and they try to utilize our energy, and they try to dictate to us, but most of the time that doesn't affect me. Like if I saw Mothman right now, or whatever is Mothman, right? Mothman. I wouldn't, would I be a little, probably, but am I going to be frightened? Absolutely not.